So she gave her a basket and sent her deep into the forest the day before the festival, pretending it was to gather rare herbs for a wealthy customer. She prayed Iphigenia would get lost. But Iphigenia had always listened to birds and followed stars. She returned the next morning, barefoot, tired, but ready. She wore her mother's old wrapper. No jewelry, her bald head shining like mahogany under the sun. And she walked to the palace. The palace square had never seen such a gathering. Prince Oleolua stood behind a carved ivory screen, observing. Each girl was called to the front. They were asked 3 questions. What do you fear most? What does beauty mean to you? If made queen, what would be your first decree? Some girls said, is snakes, or are growing old. Others replied, a beauty is how I dress, or my long hair. Most declared they'd build bigger markets or demand more mirrors in the palace. But then Iphigenia's name was called. The crowd turned. The drums stopped. She stood before the council, bald and glowing, her voice calm as dusk. What do you fear most? A losing my kindness, she said. Because when the world is cruel, it's tempting to be cruel back, the court murmured. What does beauty mean to you? A beauty is truth worn without shame. It's in the way you treat someone with nothing to give you. A pause. And if made queen, I would decree that every girl, no matter her hair, skin, or name, must be taught that she is enough. Silence. Then thunderous clapping. Even the queen's eyes gleamed with pride. But Alwa, watching from the crowd, turned pale. Oh no, it can't be her. Girls from all corners of Aileron gathered under the watchful gaze of elders in the royal court. No makeup, no wigs, no beads, only truth. Only truth. Some trembled without their usual glamour. Others wore forced smiles. A few tried to cheat, hiding gloss beneath their lips or smoothing shea butter into their brows. But when Iphigenia entered, the crowd gasped. Her head was bald, but her presence unshaken. She walked with the calmness of a stream after rain. Her eyes met no one's, not in arrogance, but in assurance. Oh! Even the queen leaned forward. Who is she? She asked one of the guards. Yui, girl from the outer villages. No family title. Orphaned, they say? Yet she walks like she commands the wind. Prince Oleolua stood behind a carved ivory screen, observing. Each girl was called to the front. They were asked 3 questions. What do you fear most? What does beauty mean to you? If made queen, what would be your first decree? Some girls said, as snakes, or growing old. Others replied, a beauty is how I dress, or a my long hair. Most declared they'd build bigger markets or demand more mirrors in the palace. But then Iphigenia's name was called. The crowd turned. The drums stopped. She stood before the council, bald and glowing, her voice calm as dusk. What do you fear most? Losing my kindness, she said. Because when the world is cruel, it's tempting to be cruel back, the court murmured. What does beauty mean to you? A beauty is truth worn without shame. It's in the way you treat someone with nothing to give you. A pause. And if made queen, he would decree that every girl, no matter her hair, skin, or name, must be taught that she is enough. Silence. Then thunderous clapping. Even the queen's eyes gleamed with pride. But Alwa, watching from the crowd, turned pale. No, it can't be her. That night, Alwa tried to sneak away to the prince's chambers. She brought gifts, woven cloth, rare cowries, sweet palm liquor. But the palace guards stopped her. The prince is with the queen, they said. Are the queen is speaking of the bald girl. Alwa fumed. She returned home and threw her mirror against the wall. That girl will not win. Not while I breathe. The next day, to the shock of the entire village, Prince Oleolua arrived on horseback with his entourage, not in royal garments, but in a plain robe. He stood outside the very hut where Iphigenia stayed. Children gathered. Elders whispered. She stepped out, confused. The prince smiled and bowed his head. You did not ask for favor. You did not come with pride, but you brought truth. Will you walk with me in the gardens of the palace? Not as a queen yet, but as a friend I wish to know. Iphigenia looked at the people watching, then at the prince, and nodded. Alwa fainted. They walked through the palace garden where hummingbirds danced around hibiscus flowers. The prince asked her everything. Who cut your hair? What made you brave? Do you miss your parents? She didn't lie. Not once. My stepmother cut my hair out of jealousy. But she also made me stronger. She taught me to rise without revenge. He looked at her and said quietly, You were already a queen. At the next moon, the prince made his choice public. He stood at the palace balcony and declared, I will marry not the richest nor the most adorned, but the one whose heart wears no mask. I, Fanania, the girl with no jewels, no family name, and no hair, has taught me what true royalty looks like. Even the harshest gossips nodded in silence. Enraged, the stepmother stormed the palace. She accused Iphigenia of witchcraft. "Ah, she bewitches the prince," she cried. No royal man could ever want a bald-headed nobody." But Queen Moronique stepped forward, as she is not a nobody. She is a daughter of this kingdom now. You, on the other hand, will never walk these palace halls again. Guards escorted Alwa out. Her shame became legend. News of the upcoming royal wedding traveled across the entire kingdom of Alaroon. Traders sang it in the marketplaces. Drummers beat it into the air. Children danced in the streets. But what caught everyone by surprise was one bold announcement from the prince himself. The bride shall wear no wig, no head wrap, no crown, only her truth. That shook the land. Many scoffed. Some celebrated. A few elders raised brows. Bald-headed, then our traditions, a bride's hair is her glory. But this one, she walks with glory already. The women of the palace offered her golden veils, silver pins, even a crown of pearls. But Iphigenia smiled and shook her head gently. Gee. I will wear what I was given the day my stepmother shaved me, my dignity. As the wedding day neared, the people brought gifts, not riches, but meaning. A potter brought her a clay bowl for your heart, which holds all who come to it. An old widow brought her fresh cassava, because you know hunger, you will never let others starve. A little orphan boy gave her a carved wooden comb. For when your hair returns, he said shyly. Iphigenia wept. These are the only treasures I will carry into marriage. Meanwhile, Olwa sat in her crumbling compound, bitter. The villagers avoided her. Her wealth had disappeared. Taken by the same vanity she had once used to mock others. She heard the drums and laughter in the distance and muttered, "Let's see how long this fairy tale lasts." But envy has no roots in joy, and joy no room for envy. The kingdom moved on without her. The sun rose golden on the day of the wedding. Palace guards stood tall and green and gold. Drummers lined the royal path. Children threw petals of hibiscus and marigold. And then Iphigenia stepped out, no crown, no makeup, no wig, only a simple white wrapper, her shoulders bare, her scalp glowing like polished ebony, and her eyes fierce with grace. The crowd fell silent. And then a wave of awe and cheers. Underneath it, a golden plaque read, "She lost her hair, but gained a nation's heart." Sparkle's moral of the story: in the heart of Africa lived a girl who lost everything people thought was beautiful, yet became the most beloved queen in history. Because real beauty doesn't sit on your head, it rises from your heart.